Hi everyone, it's me Kelly, and I am here today to show you how to make your own fishing rod. Maybe you can't afford the one from one of our commercials from today's show, so you want to make your own. So I'm going to show you how to make one that you technically could take fishing with you. It just wouldn't work as well as a real one, but I am going to show you at the end how to turn it into a little game that you can play at home. So the supplies I have here are ones that I used for my fishing rod, but as I build it, I'll tell you some other things that you can use. So the first thing you're going to need, the most important part, is a stick of some sort. So we know that an important part of a fishing rod is the rod itself, the pole. Okay, I used kind of a short one just because I wanted to be able to show you the whole thing on camera. I didn't want to use a big long one, but you can find a stick in your yard. This is one I used to stake up my plants. You can use whatever you want. So some kind of stick. The next thing is we're going to build our reel out of cardboard. So remember, the reel is the round part where you're going to crank the string on your fishing pole to reel something in. So to make mine, I used a cardboard tube. So this is a paper towel roll, which we're going to cut shorter. So you can also use a toilet paper tube. And then just some extra cardboard. This is actually from a cereal box. Okay. Next, you're going to need scissors and then some kind of tape. You can use hot glue if you have it, but if you do, make sure you have a parent help you. So I like to use masking tape. You're going to need a marker or something to draw with. You are going to need string, of course. This is actually yarn, which I don't recommend if you're really going to go fishing with it. If you're really taking it fishing, then use something stronger like fishing line. Okay. Next, you're going to need some kind of pin or something that you can stick at the end of your rod. So I have this little tiny, it's going to be hard to see on camera, but this little tiny eye hook, okay, is what it's called, which looks kind of like a screw, but it's got a rounded part at the end instead of a straight screw. If you don't have that, you can use lots of other things. You could use a thumbtack. You can use these little gold brads that I've used before in my tutorials, but you'll see what we're going to use that for in a bit, so you can try substituting something else in. The last thing is you need some kind of rounded stick, but smaller. So I'm actually using a pencil that has been sharpened pretty far down that I had already used. And what I did is I just broke off the lead so that it's not pokey anymore. Okay, so some kind of small stick. So let's get started. If you haven't seen a fishing pole before, it's got three main parts. So it's got the rod itself, the pole. It's got the reel, which I mentioned down here. And then it has the string, which comes up towards the top and then down. Since we're making a fishing pole that actually reels in, we're using what's called a pulley system, which means that the string is going to go over something round, which basically makes it easier to reel something in. So a pulley cuts the work in half so that instead of me having to just pull up my fish, I can reel it in, which makes it easier to do. So let's start building. So I'm going to take my pole, and here at the top, I'm going to put my hook where I'm going to put my string through. So I've already started a little hole ahead of time. So what I'm doing is I'm just screwing in my eye hook right here like this. So now you can see the camera a little better. This is my eye hook. Okay. If you are using something else, a brad, all you have to do is put it still at the top. There you go. And then bend it, because what you want to be able to do is link your string around it. You want it to be able to slide over the top. Okay, so whatever you do, put it near the top and make sure your string can go over it so it sticks out. You could even use something as simple as a paper clip and just bend it out a little bit. Okay, so here's my hook. Next, I'm going to start making my reel. This is the slightly trickier part. So I'm going to take my cardboard. I need to make 2 circles. So to do that, I'm going to just actually take my tape roll and I'm going to trace circles just because I want them to look pretty good. So I'm just tracing the inside like that. Make another one. So you need 2, whoops, and they should be about the same size. Let's go ahead and cut those out. And then save your cardboard scraps, because later I'm going to show you, like I said at the end, how to make this into a fishing game. So you can use your cardboard to cut out little fish at the end. Okay, so don't throw away your cardboard scraps. So there's one circle. Let's cut out our other one. These are going to be the 2 sides of the reel. And the reason we need these is because we're basically making another structure like a pulley, but this is a wheel and an axle, which you've probably heard of before. That's what's on cars, right? It has to be able to actually spin. So we're going to put these 2 circles on the end of a tube. So this is where this tube comes in. But you don't need it to be this wide. This is where your string is going to wrap around. So I'm going to cut it about this wide. Try not to flatten it too much. but it really doesn't matter how wide it is. You just don't want it too wide, okay? So next, we're gonna take our 2 circles, and what we're gonna end up doing is putting them on the end like this, so it looks kind of like a reel. Now, here's the tricky part, and you might wanna get parent help for this. Our pencil, or whatever stick you use, has to go through the middle of the reel. So before I connect these all, when it's a little easier, I'm gonna cut holes in the middle of the 2 circles here, okay? The easiest way to do that is I'm gonna just kind of fold this in half, okay? And I'm gonna put a little snip right in the middle, okay? So I don't know if you can see that, but there's just a little snip right there, enough that I can stab the pencil through. So I'm gonna do the same thing on my other one. Little snip. There we go. And if you want to test, you can go ahead and just push the pencil through. Remember, I broke off the lead so it's not too sharp, and you can see that went through quite nicely. And then it'll go through here too, but I need to put this guy on first. So to do that, the easiest way, well, technically the easiest way is to use hot glue, but like I said, if you don't want to do that, what I do is I tear off 3 pieces of tape, just sticking them in my hand to hold. And I am going to put them on my tube halfway. So you can see I have half sticking off. Next piece and last piece. And then this part's a little tricky, but you can always peel it back off, which is what's nice about masking tape. So I'm going to line up my tube in the center, and you can see I'm just sticking down my tape like so. And then I've stuck it to the tablecloth, and then just fold over the edges like that. Okay, so now you've got 1/2 of your reel. So now let's do that to the other side. 3 pieces of tape. And then again on the tube. And if you want to layer your tape kind of over itself so that it helps it stick, that's totally fine. Masking tape isn't the most sticky, so you can try something like duct tape, but I just like it because it'll peel back off if I mess up, which you guys know I do a lot. And now we're going to stick our other circle on and fold our tape edges over. Okay, so now we've got our reel, slightly off center, but I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so it looks like this. So remember, these edges are so that when the string wraps around, it doesn't just slide off the edge. So now the fun part, I'm gonna put my pencil through that side, and be really careful, that side. So now you've got this. If you made yours slanted like mine, that's totally fine, it'll still work. All right, so now we need to attach this to our fishing rod. So to do that, we want it to be down below, down closer to where we would hold the fishing rod, like this, down here. But the one thing that's tricky is you wanna make sure that your reel is lined up with the eye hook, or whatever hook you put up at the top. So you want them to face each other, because the string is gonna come straight down there to here. So I've lined them up, all right, whoops. Now I'm gonna just take my tape. There's really not a pretty way to do this part. Again, if you're using hot glue, it's a little easier. I'm just gonna make it the best I can. But we need to tape just our pencil, not the reel, because the reel has to be able to spin around. Tape just the pencil to our fishing rod. So to do that, and again, not gonna be pretty, I'm gonna start by putting it over the top, and then I'm literally just gonna wrap it around. I notice it's kind of sticking to my reel. I'm just gonna peel it off, wrapping it around like this. Oh boy. Okay, you can always adjust it later, straighten it out a little bit. There we go, wrap it some more. Okay, and you can use string to wrap it around. String is easier to wrap, but it's not as sticky. So this is actually surprisingly secure, considering I didn't wrap it very pretty. It stuck pretty well, okay? All right, there's one last step, and it's the fun one. Now you're gonna take your string. So you can measure out your string depending on how long you wanna be able to go, like how deep in the water you're fishing. I'm not gonna make it too long just because it'll be hard to not get it tangled on camera, but cut a piece of string. The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna attach it to your reel. So you don't want it to slide all the way off the reel, because if you're fishing, your whole fish could slide off. So I'm just taking a piece of tape, and I am gonna line it up on the reel like this. Actually, let's put it on our string first. So I'm stuck it to my string like that, and then I'm just taping it right on the reel, which I know seems weird, but I promise it's what you need to do. And then the next thing is to put it through the top. So because I have an eye hook, I'm gonna actually thread it through. If you just used like a brad or a paper clip, you can just basically swing it over the top to hold it, okay? So I'm kind of threading my hook here, pulling it through, and boom. I've got my fishing pole. So now what you should be able to do is if you turn this, notice I can spin this, and because my pencil is stuck, it's not coming undone, and it is wrapping around, and my little circles are holding it in, and it is lifting up my string. Pretty cool, huh? Reeling in a big fish there. Okay, now because this might be hard to take fishing, one quick thing that you can do, a kind of fun way to turn this into a game, is if you have some magnets at home that are extra, make sure you ask your parents before you steal any fridge magnets. You can take one magnet, super simple, tape it onto your one end of your string. So I'm just putting the string on and taping it. You do want to be a little careful. Don't use a ton of tape because if it's layered up on the magnet, it won't be as magnetized, okay? And then like I mentioned earlier, with your extra cardboard, you can cut out some fish. Oh, hold on, my scissors are stuck to my other magnet, okay? I'm not gonna cut out an actual fish because you guys know I'm not artistic enough to make it pretty. And then you're gonna take your other magnets, as many as you have, and you're gonna just tape them right to your fish, or in my case, square, okay? And then what you can do is you can go fishing and you can, see if I can do it, stick it there and it'll pick up the fish. Pretty cool. I caught a square. Lucky me. Cook it for dinner. Okay. That's it for today. I hope you guys have fun, and if you actually take it fishing, good luck. I hope you use some strong supplies. Remember that you'll need an actual hook if you do take it fishing. Have fun, and we'll see you guys next time.